Okay, and thank you so much to Dan Lieber for preparing the beautiful slides that we're going to use. I'm just in awe of all of the work that you do to keep everything running in Zoom and hybrid. Both Dans were just telling me a little bit about how hybrid has been going, and I'm just so impressed. Shabbat Shalom to everybody, and Happy New Year. It's so good to see you. We are going to start with Hine Matov. And I hope everybody will sing along loudly in your own Zoom square. I need to take out my headphones. My speakers on my laptop don't work. So if you need anything during the service, just chat either Dan, and I'm going to put my headphones back in at the end so I can chat with everyone again. Hine Matov. To be together, Hine Matov. We continue with Shiru Ladonai, Sing to the Lord a new song. And I don't have Katie here to sing the round with me, so hopefully if you're at home with a second person, you can keep the round going. Shiru Ladonai. We continue with Yedid Nefesh, our beautiful love song to the eternal. Yedid Nefesh av harachaman, Yedid Nefesh av harachaman, Meshuch avdach el ritzonach, Meshuch avdach av harachaman Meshoch avdach El retzonach Meshoch avdach Yai dai 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 El retzonach Yarutz avdach Kemaya Ishtachave Yai dai 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 El retzonach Yedid nefesh av harachaman Yedid nefesh av harachaman Meshoch avdach El retzonach Meshoch avdach Yai dai 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 El retzonach Or Zarua Or Zarua la tzadik Uleishrei lav simcha 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 We turn now to the lighting of our candles. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shal Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom. Lecha Dodi, we welcome the presence of Shabbat. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yaradai 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 pnei Shabbat nekabelai yaradai Lecha Dodi likrat kala yaradai 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela O shamor vezachor betipor echad ishmianu el hamayuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad l'shemo l'tiferet ve'litila Lecha Dodi likrat kala yaradai 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 pnei Shabbat nekabelai yaradai Lecha Dodi likrat kala yaradai 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela O likrat Shabbat lechu v'nalcha Ki hi mekor haberacha mirosh mikedem nesucha sof maaseh b'machshava tchila Lecha dori likrat kala yaradai 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 pene Shabbat nekabelai yaradai Lecha dori likrat kala yaradai 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 pene Shabbat nekabela. Oh, hitoreri, kivarech kumi uri, shir daberi, kivod Adonai alayich nikla. Lecha dori likrat kala yaradai 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 pene Shabbat nekabelai yaradai Lecha dori likrat kala yaradai 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 pene Shabbat nekabela. O boi v'shalom ateret bala Gam besimcha uvetzaola Tochem uneyam sigula Boi chala Lecha dori likrat kala yaradai 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 pene Shabbat nekabelai yaradai Lecha dori likrat kala yaradai 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 pene Shabbat nekabela. I invite you to rise in body or in spirit for the Baruch Hu. I'll do the call, you all do the response at home. Baruch Hu, dear one, Shekhinah, holy name, when I call on the light of my soul, I come home. Baruch Hu, dear one, Shekhinah, holy name, when I call on the light of my soul, I come home. Baruch Hu, dear one, Shekhinah, holy name, when I call on the light of my soul, I come home. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed. If you are standing, I invite you to be seated for the Ve'ahavta. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meodecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ela asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. We sing Mi Chamocha, our song of freedom. We continue with Hashkivenu, lay us down, Adonai, to peace, and let us rise up again to life. Spread over us your sukkah of peace, over us and all the world. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim. Ushmor tzidenu, uvoenu, l'chaim u'shalom, me'ata ve'ad olam. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim. We rise in body or in spirit for the tefillah, followed by the first few blessings of the Amidah, and then a silent prayer. Hananana Adonai, Hananana Sfatai Tiftach, Hananana Ufi Agi Ananana Adonai. Ananana Sfatai Tiftach. Ananana Ufi Agid. Ufi Agid Tahilatacha. Ananana Adonai. Ananana Sfatai Tiftach. Ananana Ufi Agid. Ufi Agid Tahilatacha. Baruch Ata Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot V'Imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'Nehem, L'ma'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magin, Baruch Ata Adonai, Magin Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. Ata gibor leolam Adonai, mechaye hakol ata rav lehoshia. Mechalkel chaim bechesed, mechaye hakol berachamim rabim. Somech noflim ve'rofeh cholim, umatir asurim. Umekayim emunato lishenei afar michamocha ba'al gevurot umido melech melech memit umechaya umatzmiach Yeshua v'ne'eman ata lehachayot hakol. Baruch Ata Adonai, Mechaye HaKol. Ata Kadosh v'Shimcha Kadosh, U'Kdoshim b'chol Yom Yehalelucha Selah. Baruch Ata Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. We turn now to think of those who are in need of healing, healing of body, healing of spirit. We think especially of Jane Arnold, Myra Gordon, Marla Weiner, Neil Albert, Mike Weinhold, Debbie Sachs-Buteau, Marianne Demers, Gina Wong, Jessica Klein, Matt Figelman, Kathy Grossman, Fred Moses, Adam Gelb, Danny Blair, Joyce, Roger Landay, Stanley Roth, Patty Richard, Diana Sanders, Andy Cassell, Harry Manko, Denise Pappas, Joyce and David Adamson, Tom Alexander, Joyce Catania, Susan Zimmerman-Eine, Arlene Norris, Jeff Wisnia, Deb Midman, Niels Daniels Midman, Susan Trendle, Pat Lazar, Harriet Levy, Ann Pillow, Judy Donaldson, Alan and Joanne Travis, Fiona Sutton, Norman and Fran Waxler, Sue Boardman, Angela Panzoni, Nancy Alpert, Debbie Gilman, Patty Shepard, Jennifer Chase, Ellen Lee, Vicky Oman, Barbara Cullinane, Elizabeth Wall, Anya Cowbell, Annie Graham and her daughter Sandy, Rich and Joan Richmond, Ken Bloomberg, Ayelet Bat Chava Veher Shmuel, Claude Lieber, Nancy Lazaro Lieber, Kathy Naff. If you are thinking of anyone tonight who's in need of healing, I invite you to add their name to the chat. And as those names continue to come into the chat box, we sing together, Mi Sheberach. We continue with our prayer for peace, Oseh Shalom. Oseh Shalom bimromav, Uya'aseh Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru Aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imru The week before winter break, I was talking to my students about Torah, like you do when you're a Jewish educator, and one of my 5th graders asked me, how long does it take to read the whole Torah? And so I told them, if you go to shul every Shabbat, you could, if you're not on the triennial cycle, you might hear the whole Torah in a year, but you never really finish reading the Torah. You can always come back to it, and it's going to hit differently. It took you 3 years, Lynn, right? Sometimes if you're on the triennial cycle, you only read a third of it every year. Some congregations read everything. So it could take a year, it could take 3 years just to get through all the words in the Torah. But my students and I were talking about how you can come back to the Torah at every age, and it changes every time you do come back. And so I've been thinking about today's Parsha and how I can remember sitting in my seat in the left-hand side by the window with Katie at Shir Tikvah and hearing all the different Divrei Torah that Rabbi Carey has given about this Parsha and a few that Gray gave when they were a rabbinic intern, and thinking about what an amazing thing it is to have teachers whose wisdom just layers and stays with you and then recombines with the experiences that you have when you need them the most. So today's Parsha is Va'era. We read 3 months early about the Exodus story, and it's always very strange to be reading about the 10 plagues 3 months before we're going to be doing it all again in the Haggadah. And I remember Rabbi Carey talking about this particular Parsha and encouraging us to think about it as a chance to spiritually warm up for Passover. Because it's not a muscle that we can just turn on. It's something that takes time and practice, just like any sport, to build up that muscle, to build up that endurance. And as I thought about that, it felt really heavy to me that this year, that spiritual exercise, this athletic feat, feels more difficult than it did in past years. I remember at this time last year feeling so much hope. Vaccines were on the horizon. It seemed like the tide was turning. We were out of our Mitzrayim soon. And this year we find ourselves back again. And that can feel really heavy and really discouraging. And I think it's so important to make space for how so many of us are feeling right now. We have had enough. We want to be out of the desert already. I've seen a lot of friends on social media saying, everyone tiptoe into 2022. Nobody say this is going to be your year. Just be cool, everybody. We are at our wits' end. But the other thing that I'm getting from this Parsha, because I always seem to get what I need from the Torah when I need it, is we're going to be out of Mitzrayim, out of Egypt, and then we're going to be back again. And back and forth and back and forth. Our Jewish mystical tradition teaches us that we live in sacred time, that time is not linear, it is cyclical. And not only do we re-experience each of these significant events in the history of our people, the Exodus from Egypt, but they're happening constantly, all the time, in our lives. So we could think about that in a very mystical way or in a practical way, that we are constantly going through periods of redemption and struggle. The comforting thing to me from this Parsha is that, sure, we're back in Egypt again. We're practicing for our redemption. And we know we're going to be right back there again next year, but we also know that we will reach the promised land, we will have these periods of light, and that the exercise of hope is just as important as being back in this narrow place. So I am grateful to spend this New Year's with you, with this Parsha tonight. It was the Parsha I needed to read for where I am right now. And I hope that it brings some comfort to you as well, knowing that we are all dwelling in our Mitzrayim together, but that we are gradually, over the course of the next 3 months, clawing our way towards light, towards longer days, towards the promised land together. And I'm very grateful for all of you. Shabbat Shalom. We move now into the Mourner's Kaddish, and we think of those in the period of Shloshim. Dr. Joe Berman, Al Levin, Beth's father. And in this year, we remember Jack Langerman, Gladys Schuker, Roberta Lipperman, Michael Slonim, and all those around the world who have died from COVID-19, all of those lost in senseless violence. If you're remembering anyone tonight, I invite you to share their name in the chat. We rise as one community of memory in body or in spirit for the Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach yiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh, b'chai echon u'v'yom echon, u'v'chayeh dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yeheshme Rabbah mevarach le'alam u'lamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yithaleh v'yithalal shemei dekudesha barichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehesh lama Rabbah min Shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all Israel, and to all who dwell on earth. And we say, Amen. If you are standing, you may be seated. We're going to sing ourselves out with a couple of songs. First, we'll have Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachi HaShalom, Malachi Elyon, Mi Melech Malachi HaMlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzidchem l'Shalom, Malachi HaShalom, Malachi Elyon, Mi Melech Malachi HaMlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And we'll finish tonight with Lechi Lach, which was one of Michael Sloanim's favorite songs at Shir Tikvah. And tonight, New Year's Eve, would have been his birthday, so we are holding his memory close in our hearts tonight as we sing Lechi Lach. And Harriet, we are holding you close in our hearts as well. We'll conclude tonight's service with the Kiddush. Take a moment if you'd like to grab a glass of wine, some grape juice, something tasty. I've got my Yiddish sayings mug here. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon inchilanu, zikaron l'ma'aseh v'reshit, ki hu yom techila l'mikrae kodesh, zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim, kivanu v'acharta, Ve'otanu kidashta mikol hamim, Ve'shabbat kodshecha Be'ahava uvratzon inchaltanu. Baruch ata Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat L'chaim. Shabbat Shalom, Happy New Year. I'm plugging in my headphones so I can hear everybody. So wonderful to be with you tonight for Shabbat and on New Year's Eve.
Shabbat Shalom. Alicia, thank you.
Shabbat Shalom.
And give her
Shabbat Shalom. Happy New Year.
Thank you.